This is week 3, lesson B. In lesson B, we're going to compare rate of change sequences, and our goal is to compare linear, quadratic, and exponential functions using the rate of change. So those are new words for us that we're going to start exploring. We learned about rate of change the other day. Rate of change was how fast a sequence was growing. Our agenda for the lesson will be a warm-up, and I'm going to ask you again to notice a sequence and tell me what is the same and what is different. We are going to do what's called a card sorting activity. I will be showing you several sequences, and you're going to tell me how they are changing. Then we'll have a final reflection. Today's warm-up, we are going to describe the similarities and differences you see between the two sequences. Here I have sequence A and sequence B. What do you notice is the same between the two sequences? What do you notice is different between the two sequences? Sequence A has 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, and so does sequence B. If you notice sequence A is increasing, sequence B is increasing. But we have a different rate of change this time. Sequence A has a rate of change of +2. You can see that written down here, and I have circled the additional circles that are added on to the end of the previous sequence. Sequence B, you can see that term 1 and term 2 increase by 2, but that same rule does not apply to the rest of the sequence. This time, the sequence doubles. So term 1 has 2 circles, so 2 times 2 is 4. Then you can see that the sequence doubles again. 4 times 2 is 8. Now take the 8 circles and double it again. 8 times 2 is 16 circles. So sequence A has a rate of +2, rate of change of +2. Sequence B has a rate of change of ×2. So the rate of change is different, and one has a much faster rate of change than the other. Sequence B has a faster rate of change. So some of the similarities, they were increasing. They both have 4 terms. Some of the differences. One sequence increases by +2. One sequence increases by ×2. And one has a faster rate of change. For this activity, I am going to have you write on a Google Doc. I want you to pause the Edpuzzle video and open a new tab. Open Google Classroom, and this document is called Analyze the Change in the Sequences. So you can open this in the tab next to your Edpuzzle, because we're going back to the Edpuzzle after you're completing this activity. So this activity begins with this table at the top, and I apologize, I didn't want to use the table and I can't delete it. So you're going to scroll down to page 2 for the activity once this is open. So now we're going to scroll down to page 2. And today we're going to work with sequence set 1. So I want you to do the following. Analyze each sequence in this set, and then I want you to annotate or type in the box your response. Here is the question. How is the sequence changing? I start with sequence A, so I'm going to say, okay, it has 4 terms. They are increasing. By how much? Well, it looks like 2 circles is being added onto the sequence every time. So how is the sequence changing? Next to A, here's an example. I would type add 2, or you can put the symbols +2. I want you to go in and do this for each sequence. Tell me how B changes, C changes, and these are the details you will use. Tell me what is being added or subtracted each time. Down at the bottom of your answer box, the final question I want you to answer: what do all the sequences have in common as far as their change? So after you go through and you analyze each one of these sequences, you're going to notice they all have something in common. So what I want you to do is make sure you fill out that answer after. Please go back to the Edpuzzle now and put done in the multiple choice box so the Edpuzzle video will continue. For our final activity today, I would like you to reflect on the following 2 sequences. Describe the similarities in how each type of pair of sequences changes. So I want you to take a look at sequence S and sequence T. And I want you to tell me how the change in each sequence is the same.